Hello, this is Mr. Frugal once again. Today we shall be discussing Nigeria food crisis, or what you might also call it, the food insecurity. Okay, what are the root causes of the food crisis? This is basically the topic we'll be discussing today. And during this video, honestly, this topic, I don't know, is very interesting. That it's not just you watching the video, at the very beginning, but if you watch it to the very end, you'll be able to get so many informations which I will share to you as for the reason for the food insecurity or the food crisis currently happening in Nigeria. Back in those days, getting a food in Nigeria or buying a food, the cost of food is very, very cheap. And that's because so many people go to farm, and we have commercial farmers, and we also have individual farmers or private farmers, as you may call it, back in those days. And as a result of this, you literally will just go to the market, and with little money in your hand, you'll be able to buy as too many food as you want to, like tomatoes, rice, beans, and so many things like that. So these are basic indigenous Nigerian foods as at that time. But I think over time, a lot is changing due to a number of factors that have actually led Nigeria to the mess she finds herself today, and which is one of which we will be actually discussing now. Now, let's talk about some of these factors. One of the factors that is causing food shortages in Nigeria currently is insecurity. Insecurity is one of the factors that's causing the mess Nigeria is finding itself today when it comes to foods. Then we'll also be talking about reliance on petroleum products or other natural resources. I remember while we were growing up, everybody was so happy to go to farm or things like that, because farm is like the hope for a common man in Nigeria. But as time goes by, some parents they are so much interested in sending their children to school, and as a result of this, not many young people are so much interested in going to farm, because they are considering the range of factors. Or listen, my dad has been farming for so many years, and he has not been able to come up with something very tangible, or my parents, things like that. And they also have this perception that farmers in Nigeria, they are very poor, and while people work in other industries, they are very rich. Honestly, that's because we haven't really paid so much attention of the benefits of farming, in Nigeria, and how you can, actually develop a kind of commercial farming that can actually yield you millions and millions and millions of naira, in return. So these are some of the factors which is currently affecting Nigeria, or Nigeria as a country, or Nigerian people, or Nigerian citizens. But I will break it down one after the other. And these three main factors that's currently happening that's causing food insecurity in Nigeria. And let's start with the issue of insecurity. Insecurity has actually caused a major problem, a serious problem in Nigeria. Back in those days, I remember when I used to follow my dad to the farm, we actually traveled to a lot of kilometers. Like, it take us like 5 hours to have to go to farm, and we have to also come back. We went to the farm. Sometimes we spent about a month or even 2 months in the farm. Everything was so nice, and you have no fear of who is going to kidnap you or what's going to happen to you right there in the bush. But these days, we notice that a lot gradually changed over time. We are now seeing that farmer goes to the farm, and they've been attacked by different groups like banditry and other ethnic issues as it's playing out in Nigeria. And this has become a very, very serious problem, because if you are not sure you're going to be secure going to farm, what would you do? You rather quit the farm to save your life rather than going back to the farm, now of which you never know what's going to happen to you in the first place. Okay? So I am sure a lot of farmers, especially the northeast Nigeria, has actually quit farming due to this insecurity problem as it's been playing out. We hear a lot of stories how people has been slaughtered in the farm, and how people went to the farm and they became kidnapped. Until today, they are nowhere to be found. And incident like this actually is very worrisome, and it's not such actually that will actually benefit Nigeria when it comes to food production. Because I remember we used to export even groundnuts, beans to other neighboring countries, but as of today we don't even have enough to feed ourselves, and this is as a result of food insecurity, and as a result of insecurity that have actually prevented farmers to freely go to their farms and farm and harvest the products, and of which myself and you, we're going to consume at the end of the day. Now you're seeing the reason why the insecurity has played a very significant role in the area of food crisis in Nigeria. Now I'm going to expand that a little bit, because what is currently happening in that region, you would think that, oh listen, that this is just normal ethnic disputes that has been playing out within this community, but you will not really understand that it seems like an ethnic issue, but the issue goes beyond what you can just think. Okay, the issue goes beyond that. This insecurity that is now playing out in Nigeria communities, it goes beyond what you can just think. Okay, though we have a lot of our local people who have hands in this insecurity issue, but at the same time we are also having some foreign authorities whose interest is to destabilize this country, Nigeria, render people handicapped when it comes to food, that the only source of their income is to either take bribe from them to loot their resources and go away. I'm telling you this, I don't want to stress it too far, but if you sit down, think about what is happening in Nigeria. Because I remember, let's take for instance, we're talking about the dispute between the herdsmen and the farmers. Okay, I used to go to farm with my dad, and the herdsmen, they were the best of our best friends. Okay, we meet them at the bush. Yeah, they even kill some animals, they give you to buy. Okay, so they usually will come sometime. If they don't have water, they come to our house, they ask for water, we give to them. We are a very good community. Okay, they will not take their animals or their cows to your farm to eat your crops. They will never do that, because they know how much you put into farming. They understand that fully well. And for centuries we've been living like this. For centuries we've been living like this. There has never been a problem. But suddenly what we are saying is, like he said, that the farmers attacking the herdsmen, or the herdsmen attacking the farmers. Why? Because the farmers are complaining that their crops has been eaten by cows. But as a result, the farmer retaliates. Then the herdsmen as well, they are very angry that they spent so many years training up these cows. Then how could it that they be poisoned, deliberately? This has sparked a lot of very serious issues. Now, actually, one of the things you will find out is that the herdsmen who were not coming to in the name of cow rearers to eat up farmer crops, these were not really genuine herdsmen. They are not genuine herdsmen. These are foreign mercenaries that is being brought up to destabilize the region. Why? There are so many reasons. Because if I tell you now, you'll be so surprised. Now, you have some of these, foreign mercenaries who are currently in Nigeria. But you wouldn't, because one of the things you will see is that you'll be so surprised. How come that we are even a lot of Nigeria, they are fighting, they want to come abroad. But we also have a larger population of other community, Europeans, East Asia, coming to Africa, especially Nigeria, right now. So the question you ask yourself, why are these people becoming so populated in this country? And why is it that they are so They are so willing to come. Why we are running away, but they are coming in. Why? Okay? Now, what happened is that whenever a certain mineral is discovered in a community, and these foreign mercenaries, what they do, they get these guys who are not so educated and who can accept anything to come and displace people from these localities. At the moment that happens, this is when you begin to see all these people coming in to start exploiting those natural resources. Okay? We have seen this happening in Jos or in the Plateau State. We have seen this happen in Zamfara. We have seen this happen in part of Benue. We have also seen this happening in part of Kaduna. Now, during this incident, one of the things we are seeing is that an helicopter dropping ammunition for bandits. So the reason for this is for the bandits to be able to use that ammunition to kill innocent Nigerians, displace these Nigerians, so that that land is not free for them to execute their plans. Now, what I say not to understand is actually due to the fact that I know, even if you are a private rich person, yeah, government control the sky, they control the air. No matter how big you are, you will not be able to fly a helicopter without, the authorization from the authority. And this is what we are currently seeing in our community. People be masterminded and be somehow bribed to come and destabilize our communities so as to create that kind of vacuum for them to come and loot Nigerians. Now, somehow, this has played very, very well for them. But what we are saying, as a result of this crisis, farmers can no longer go to work. So those who do small farming, they cannot even, they are so afraid, they can't go as far as maybe 3 kilometers or 10 kilometers, 50 kilometers to go and farm. And this is one of the reasons we are seeing the food crisis currently taking place in Nigeria, because Nigeria don't have enough food. And again, we are seeing some other factors. We are seeing people like the Chinese. They are coming into Nigeria, and a land is been apportioned for them to farm. To be honest, I'm not disputing that, okay? Because ordinarily, if you come to a country you want to invest, you should be able to do that, and there should be atmosphere for you to do that. These people, they have amassed a lot of land for farming, and they are not the one farming Nigeria crops and Nigeria foods. So I remember the other time I visited a shop in the UK here, and I want to buy Gary. Gary now is now made from China. Melon. I don't know if many of you know melon. Melon is now being produced in China. Ogbono, a lot of all these other food, they are now being made in China. But these are actually indigenous Nigerian food. And if the environment were secure, actually you would not even have to give up your food, yeah, your locally made food, for any other one. Now you can understand the environment we have created and what it has led us to today, for we not being able to understand ourselves as one community and do the things that we're supposed to do. And we're also having some of these challenges, because one of the questions you ask is that how come these foreign mercenaries, they've been able to infiltrate our lands? How do they manage to do that? Honestly, let me tell you this, they cannot do this without the people in the higher authority, and they cannot do this without the traditional rulers and the traditional leaders. And one of the things I think is happening is that I think it's just lack of leadership. There is no system that enable Nigerians as a community to scrutinize whoever that is coming, either to invest or either to resettle in Nigeria. No, there's no such system. It's much more like you get a visa, you come into Nigeria, and then you know somebody, from there you start doing your own thing. It's as easy as that. Okay? Now, let's look at the other factor, which is the petroleum, or the crude oil, as it is in Nigeria. We are so much relying on, it's like everything now is not oil. I used to remember those days when we do rubber plantation, cocoa plantation, and many other plantations like that. So these are very, very good products that even the global community they need today. We can produce locally, we can even export. And I believe some of these products were yielding us a lot of income in Nigeria back in those days. But gradually, we do away with all these products, and there are so many other, thousands of other products like that, that we are no longer interested in it, because everybody is either pursuing oil money, or people went through banking, they want to quickly get money as quickly as possible. And this has also caused some of the challenges that we face today. And three is a lack of government interference for providing a safety environment for people to either invest and to change some of the challenges that we face today. Why am I saying that? Is that I've watched that video of a man who came all the way from the USA to come and invest into farming in Nigeria. I think that was Benin, precisely Edo State. But what happened initially, this farmer was actually, he invested, and as at the time the crops were growing, and we have this issue of the herdsmen coming to chop on his farm, and they continued to cry. This man cried. He cried to the state government. Unfortunately, nobody come for his rescue. And what he has to do, I can say that man, when you watch that video, you will shed tears that how could we have this kind of system where people who are vulnerable, they are crying out every day, and the authorities doing nothing about it. And that man packed his load and left. And I believe there are millions of people today who have interest to have come to Nigeria to invest. But unfortunately, some of these factors will not allow them. Now you can see that the problem that we have compounded over the years regarding food, and which is now playing out. Now you can see that all these factors contributed to the food crisis we are now facing now in Nigeria. Maybe you just go to a restaurant, you want to buy fufu and soup. They'll give you one big fufu like that, like very big, back in those days. But now the fufu that if you go to a restaurant and say you want to buy fufu, they cut it small, like little egg. You will not be so sure if it's that fufu that you used to see those days. So you have to buy a larger quantity of it if you actually want to eat and be satisfied. Now you see this situation. And another factor is farmers who has been farming over the years. A lot of them, they save money because they have this belief that when they send their children to school and their children graduated, they can get a much more white-collar job, things like that. As a result of that, they actually negate or refused deliberately to train their children this traditional business that they have been doing over the years. Now, when this generation of farmers is gone, now the next generations are becoming smaller. This is due to the fact that they believe in Nigeria that life is a process, that farming is a dirty man business. Okay, so how can I have suffered farming, so how can I train my child to be a farmer? Okay, so I think where we are missing it is just developing more skills and knowing the modern day way of farming. Because in Europe here, farming has been a legacy to generations. What do I mean? That if I met my parents farming, and by the time I finish or I even graduate, if I intend to go to school, then I'll have to continue that my parents' business. That family will continue. Then when I'm old, then my children again will continue from where I stopped. That is the way it is here in Europe. And you can see the benefit of that. Europe somehow, they don't really have much farmers, but they have more than enough to meet the demand of their people. And that's why you see food is not much more of any big issue here, no matter how you could afford to eat. So I believe we can actually develop some of this idea instead of discouraging some of our children, on how to probably go to school and telling them that farming is not the best way to go in life, things like that. Okay, we can actually, some of those children, we can teach them. They can go for additional training. They can even go to other countries, study agriculture. Then that ideas they have, they can bring it back to Nigeria. Okay, I want to appreciate the young man who recently come up with a kind of water farming system and be able to build a space, and generate crops through the water farming system. I don't know how to describe it. I hope I'm able to find that video. I'll bring it out. Okay, so you will see how much this guy is generating every day just for farming. Okay, the same way, especially when there's food crisis like Nigeria. If you're a farmer today, you will know how much you will be earning, if not even daily, weekly. It's a lot of money because people are in desperate need of food. And one of the products that is actually scarce is the food. Now again, even the food we locally made before, we are not importing them. We are not importing egusi from China. We are importing gari from China. We are importing ogbono from China. We are importing some of these things. Now, the question is, what is left for us as Nigeria? So it's much more like we are almost 80% or 85% of foreign product, and of which 50% of these products can be locally made at a very cheap price here in Nigeria. Now you see some of the problems that we are facing. We're in a mess. We're in a mess, serious mess. Now another factor is the foreign organizations, foreign NGOs. They have a very master plan in Nigeria, and most of these foreign NGOs, they are owned by some of these superpower countries. Okay, they are coming to work as an NGO in this country, but actually their main purpose is not for the purpose of to come and save lives. Their major purpose, their mission is to come and first of all survey the environment. Okay, survey the environment, investigate the environment, check where minerals them are, and begin to pass these informations to their foreign authorities, and thereby causing instabilities in these areas, and begin to suck Nigeria community up and begin to suck these resources. This is what we are seeing. So it might be so difficult for you to understand the politics and what is actually playing out in Nigeria community. But this is the reality of what is happening. Because if you run an NGO or if you run local NGO in Nigeria, you will see how difficult it is for you to secure funds from these international organizations in Nigeria. They never share for you. You understand your community. You know the problem your people are facing. You have designed a strategy, a workable strategy in that manner. And you think you will be able to get funding from these foreign or international NGO who release funds for projects. But where you will know that there are those international NGO, their mission is not to come and save or solve problem there in Nigeria, is when you decide that you need funding from them to be able to execute or to extend their project to the next level. Because one of the things is that they systematically cage people, they cause this problem as is happening now, that they contain people at a certain place. Okay, the next thing they want to do, the area where these people has been displaced, they have all the information, they've done their surveillance. Their government now decided to move people there and be looting those resources that is in there. Honestly, I am telling you, although Nigeria is a sovereign nation, but somehow, when you think farther than that, you find out that Nigeria don't even control itself. Now you can understand the reason for all this. I think it has a lot to do with foreign authorities who has infiltrated deeply into Nigeria community who are committing crimes every day. Another reason why this whole food crisis is happening, this crime is taking place everywhere. It could also be due to foreign authoritarian interests. Foreign authoritarian interests. Okay? Now, Nigerians are hardworking. They are hard workers. Anywhere they go, they work very extremely hard. There are some jobs, even the Europeans, they can't do today. You need Nigerians to do that. So, if Nigeria population, they are secured, or Nigeria community or environment is secured, then who is going to call you to come and do those works that they cannot do themselves here? So when there's insecurity in your community, then you will not be forced to come and do some of those slave jobs that they themselves they cannot do here. And that is why you see that it's not just a common factor that you see somebody kill somebody, or you see somebody buy somebody, you think he is there, but there's something happening. Something is pushing that person. Somebody's funding it. These are the reasons why we are in this mess we are today. But the question is, how do we resolve this problem? How do we, let us start from this Nigeria food crisis. How do we resolve it? I'm telling you, it is difficult, but it's not impossible. It is difficult, but it's not impossible. I think one of the things we have to do as Nigerians is to work with local authorities. Secure your community. I think one of the things that is lacking currently is just lack of leadership, because so many of us, whether you're a traditional ruler or you're a politician, so many of us, we don't really know that we own a duty to protect our people. Up to a single individual that is just be given birth to in your community, your duty is to make sure they are secure. Your duty is to make sure they are safe. Your duty is to make sure that everything they need, you are able to provide for them. Okay? But many of us, we don't understand. Because if you value community, you will not allow anybody to come and bribe you over your resources. It's impossible. So people coming to invest in your community, so many of our leaders, they don't even understand the procedure, how it's supposed to be. I am sure there are millions of foreign companies in Nigeria today. Most of them, they don't even secure the right license. And those licenses that are given to them is much more like you lobby me, I lobby you, things like that to get that. But again, what you are giving that person is you are just giving that person everything you own for him to take a mandate of it and give you a little portion out of that. So I think somehow we can say lack of leadership is actually affecting our community. So if we able to educate people about leadership and we start building a united community, it doesn't matter where you're from, whether you're Igbo, you're Yoruba, Hausa, it doesn't matter. You have to know yourself as a community. You need to protect each other. Give out the right information that protects community and make the environment safe for farmers to farm. And at the end of the day, you will see that in as much as food products are not coming out in a large quantity, this eventually will reduce the cost of food crisis as it's happening now, and it will dramatically reduce the food shortage as it's playing out today. Now you see the whole trend, how everything is going. But I'm sure with this, we'll be able to subsidize for the price of this food as we're having it today. Because we see government has even removed subsidy. That has not changed anything. Okay? Now, even if the government subsidized for petroleum, it will not really solve anything. Do not forget that there are a lot of foreign powers, international power, that is behind some of these incidents that is playing out today. So Nigerians are suffering. It's not because the Nigeria authority wanted it that way, but it's just that because there's international powers that are playing here, controlling the price of these products, which they do not even own the product in the first place, but they are able to control the price. That's what you are seeing in Nigeria economy as a result of disunity among the community and lack of leadership within the community. But if you have other ideas on what you think these problems them are and how we can solve this problem, honestly, I'll be so happy. We'll be so happy. Just leave a comment on the comment section. Let us know. We're very happy to respond to you. And now you can see the reason why I told you that it's not just even watching this video at the beginning and leave it, but you watch it to the very end so that you'll be able to get the right information out in there. So I hope you really learn from this, and I'm very happy, and I hope to see you on my next episode on this particular topic. But like I said, if you have any opinion or you think some of these factors I stated here, you also have something to contribute, do not forget to just leave a comment. I'll be very happy to respond. Once again, that's Mr. Frugal. Thank you very much, and bye for now.
This is Africa Social Intellect, your premier destination for thought-provoking discussions and insightful perspectives on the vibrant and diverse African community and beyond. Our dedication extends beyond conversations. In recognizing the importance of security, we provide essential information to help safeguard vulnerable nations. From navigating local challenges to assisting these vulnerable nations against imperialistic threats, we stand as a beacon of awareness and resilience. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, comment, and share our news. If you're watching on Facebook or another platform, follow us and share this reliable news source. We hope you enjoy the news, and thank you for watching, and see you next time.